Hi everyone, Kelt here, bringing you my thoughts on the British royal family, and today I'll be talking about royal photographer Arthur Edwards' relationship with Harry and why Harry, I believe, was so angry on his wedding day. Arthur Edwards has just spoken out about how Harry and Meghan's wedding day was the worst he'd ever been to, and he could not wait to leave Windsor that day. Arthur had been a royal photographer for decades, having taken photographs outside the hospital for different royal births, the births of William and Harry, and he knew Harry from a baby and travelled the world with him and had a really good relationship and rapport with him. He knew Harry as originally a bit of a spoilt, naughty child and then into a rebellious teen, which everybody seemed to allow, including Arthur, because of Harry having lost his mother. And obviously William did as well, but Harry had more sympathy. And then even into adulthood, when he joined the military, Arthur always made allowances for Harry for his behaviour. But he's speaking out now, and instead of his usual hoping that the boys, the brothers, William and Harry, bury their differences and come together again, he's accepted that this isn't going to happen, it seems. And it's freed him to be able to be real and honest about his experience in recent years with Harry. He felt that Harry and Meghan were punishing the photographers on their wedding day. The love-hate relationship with the press, because, let's face it, they love the press, they love the attention. They need the press to be significant in the world or to feel significant, but they also hate it because it shows the truth. Because the press are free to give their opinions, and that's the part they don't like. When two professional victims meet, you have the Sussexes. Arthur said that when the carriage went past, Harry and Meghan turned the opposite way. This is awful. That man deserved to be treated with respect after all the years of kindness that he showed Harry. He was always loyal to him and spoke positively about him, even when he knew that Harry was, at times, not likeable and a real problem. He always spoke positively and covered for him. It's interesting that he confirms the fact that Harry was angry that day and moody, because I could see it. Many of us could, but we just put it down to nerves. I learned that there were several reasons that Harry was angry. People had started pointing out on social media about Meghan's bossy and demanding ways, and the Queen had also learned how much a problem Meghan was after the tiara incident, and also various other things where Meghan showed her true colours. And I understand that the Queen had words with Harry before the wedding. There was also the dress-fitting incident where Charlotte was alleged to have been bullied, and you can only put so much down to a bride being stressed before a wedding. No one should treat a little princess, and also the Queen of the country, in the way that Meghan did, not forgetting the way she treated Catherine. So Harry was feeling annoyed about the things that he had heard about Meghan from his family, and there were plenty of things to be concerned about, so he would have heard all these things right before this wedding. And also, importantly, things that had been revealed by friends who wanted to make sure that he wasn't making a mistake. And it was said to me that one of the things he learned was about the fact that he was going to be Meghan's third husband, not her second. There was also something which had been a rumour about her having a daughter when she was very young, which Harry did not know about then. These are pretty big things. And also, it's possible that he learned more details about her knowledge of Prince Andrew, although I think she pretended to Harry that she didn't know him. Could he have learned more about that? I don't think so at that time. I think that came later. But these things were going to sow doubt in Harry's mind. And if these things weren't enough to put a hold on the proceedings, the main thing which angered Harry and stressed him was the fact that he had been told, and it was either the night before or on the morning of the wedding, that Meghan had had a miscarriage. This is what I was told. So many of us know that it was a shotgun marriage, in as much as Harry was fooled into thinking that she was with child, and that is why the dress was slightly too large for her to allow for extra space for a growing bump, to allow for the weight that she would gain before the wedding. She was never pregnant, and that was why the dress was fitting loosely. Her plan had worked, though, and that is why the look of elation on her face and also her mother's showed that they had so much on Harry that he had had to go through with it. This made him angry. Also the fact that he had an emotional phone call with his ex, Chelsea Davy, the evening before, and I believe he had serious doubts that day. He would have spoken to Meghan before the actual wedding that morning. You can guarantee that, and that she would have made sure that that happened and that he was not going to have cold feet. And so she spun her spell on him, and also he would have been reminded that the whole country were depending on this wedding. So there is no way that it would have been cancelled. There would have been so much in the way of embarrassment for the royals. But then look at it this way. They've had so much embarrassment in the years following. That one day of embarrassment of something big being cancelled wouldn't have been so bad. Meghan would have made sure that Harry knew that the stress that caused her to lose this imaginary child was due to the pressure of the press and all the things they were saying about her. So he would blame the press for her losing a child, just like the one later on in their marriage, which he allegedly buried under a tree with his bare hands, something that does not happen. The hospital would not have allowed her to bring a baby home to bury under a tree. And as there were so many anomalies with that story, including the fact that the soil under that type of tree would be rock hard in that area and would be completely unable to be dug with your hands. But that's another story. Harry would have had a whole range of emotions, ranging from doubt about what he was doing, whether Meghan was hiding even more secrets from him, to being really upset about what was being said, but also angry. And of course, all the anger would be focused on the press. Meghan would have made sure of that. So this was one of the first times where we really see the narcissistic control that she had and has over him. So all those emotions, along with his attraction to Meghan, he would be convincing himself, and the obvious power that she had over him, which we could see, but he couldn't. We, the public, were noticing that Harry looked serious and unhappy at times that day, but put it down to the fact that he was thinking about his mother and wishing she was there, and to the stress and all the usual things. But that was probably only a small part of it. The rest was what he had found out about the person he was just about to marry. Some have suggested that Harry had found out that she could not bear children, but I doubt that he would agree to marry her knowing that. I think it's more likely that he thought she was pregnant because she told him and had lost it conveniently that morning, so no time to cancel the wedding. It was also said to me that they had their proper marriage ceremony in Africa on their trip there before this royal wedding, which was the reason why the Queen invited Meghan to spend Christmas with the family before they were married, because this never happened. The Queen was very particular about this and would have only had Meghan there for Christmas if Harry and she were married already, so it wasn't the Queen being more modern and flexible in her thinking. She knew that they were already married because it pressured her, basically forced her into letting them have a royal marriage. There was no going back from that because they had told her that Meghan was pregnant. Yes, that wedding day was a weird day, and knowing now how depressing it was for the photographers, I'm surprised they showed any grace towards them in the years following that, when they were trying to hide these invisible children from the press. Arthur still showed impeccable loyalty to Harry, all the while being deceived and manipulated by Harry's controller. The whole world has been gaslighted by this woman. It's such a shame when genuinely kind and loyal people such as Arthur Edwards get treated in this way. Arthur is the one person who would know that Harry was genuinely angry or upset because he knew him so well. Harry had ensured that only the photographers that he wanted, who obviously were going to say all the stuff that Meghan and Harry wanted, were actually at the front and the others were at the back. Arthur Edwards was always one of the royal family's favourite photographers. A lovely man, honest, real, down-to-earth and kind, and very, very sensitive towards the royals. So he was one of their favourite photographers, basically, until Meghan came along. And as I said, he still showed grace towards them both. So, what do you think it was that made Harry so angry on his wedding day? Let me have your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.